So my first question is, what is a common ground between you two different individuals?
I mean, while we're on the street, you mean, or right now?
We
Because
got
right
sunglasses. We got sunglasses on.
Well, at least you got that going for you, right?
Well, hey, listen.
right now we
Not-
both like the same thing. We like to laugh a lot, so that's the common. I think when we're on the street, Michael will agree with me. I think what you look for is somebody whose personality is similar to yours and likes to make money. And I think money is the common ground in our relationships.
What would you say, Mike?
Yeah, I agree that to an extent. I think, but there's also, but it's more personality wise. One of the things that I look for in a personality is where there can be a little bit of a yin and the yang. Between, I always say it wrong, yin yang, whatever. You know, like a little bit of give and take, where you can both mesh into one. Like when you're hanging out, you can't be too dynamic, where you separate each other and you become a force on your own. You want to be a force together. Does that make sense, Johnny?
Yeah, yeah.
Because otherwise, an organizational structure will never work if you're one. You know, you have to be a team player. That's what I see when I see a guy.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But there's got to be loyalty to it, right? Because as a cop, you're loyal to other cops, and as a gangster, you're supposed to be loyal to other gangsters. So it's just about money.
I mean, listen, Phil Baroni, was a detective that he lived up the block from me, and his son's the ex UFC fighter that also I was very close with, still very close with. So me and Phil had a good relationship. He lived up the block. We were friends. He liked what I said. We used to like to laugh and joke. He had a really good personality as far as joking. He loved money. We used to, do a lot of things with money together: bookmaking, loan sharking, robberies, drug business, and even murder. So I think with Phil, we had a good common bond of friendship. And if you seen us out, you wouldn't really know who was a gangster, who was a cop. That wasn't on our sleeve. So when we went out, it was about friendship and making money. The only downfall he had, he was very cheap, different than Mike. Mike's a maniac. He's like me. He likes to spend money and laugh and have a good time. So
I don't have Johnny's money, otherwise
Yeah.
you might see it a little differently. But again, Johnny made the money, and he was an earner. You were an earner, John. That's one of the things they liked about you.
Yeah.
And a cop is easily drawn to that. So I came up on the other side of the tracks where I dealt with mostly. I mean, Johnny, you were in the drug business too. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to put you out there. You knew a little bit about it anyway.
It's out there.
It's
right?
out there, yeah. But the fact is that I was a young kid. You were young too. We were young back then when this whole '80s boom of drugs came about. And for me, the attraction was that these young kids had more money than semi-adult men, and it was like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And so, and everybody's attracted to that, the bling of the lifestyle. I mean, it's attractive. That's why it's a sell. But when you see a guy like Johnny rolling around with, the life he lived, you want a piece of it.
So in a sense, was it kind of, Mike, you saw John rolling around with money, so you want a piece of it. And on your end, he's a cop, and you think, well, maybe I can get to him to get away with more.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Mike and saying a guy like Mike and Phil, who stay with me, and guys like Phil, is you can use that badge because these guys are close to who I am on the street. I mean, that little thin line between us, we're very similar. And if people don't know that or don't understand that, police officers are similar to street guys and gangsters. Very, very similar in a lot of ways. And if I can exploit that and get him on the other side of that line, and if he's willing to come on the other side of that line, that badge is going to help us make a lot more money than I'm making already.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
too, Mike?
well, I think that's what the dynamics in the relationship is, because the reality is, look, put it this way: if I know he's doing something bad and I'm letting him get away with it, there's got to be a cost somewhere here. And he's looking at it, and from his perspective, I'm getting away with it without you. So what are you going to do for me? I mean, it's got to be a give and take.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street. They call it a two-way street where I come from, not a one-way street.
Now,
I mean, Johnny, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
now, how does it all begin?
Well, you don't have to agree with me all the way, motherfucker. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me.
How does it begin? Common ground. We look for common ground in our personalities. With Phil, it was gambling. He liked to gamble and he liked sports. So he lived up the block from me, and I slowly maneuvered him into, and we played sports together, and we were on the same softball team. We started playing a little football and things that made him common ground, and then he liked to gamble. So when we go to Atlantic City a lot, I started inviting him. And once I invited him, and he seen the money the way we had money, it opened his eyes a little bit. And instead of handing him money straight, I did other things. You know, so when we were down at the casino, I'd go shopping, I'd pick up the food bills, I'd pick up the restaurant, and I made him get a little feel for it. And then I was judging him. I'm at the same time I'm judging him to see like where he's at. You know, as a barometer on him. And I seen that he was movable, and I started moving him.
Yeah. You see, for me, it was a little bit more direct. You know, some guys he probably wanted to be seduced.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of guys, some people want to be seduced, and other people are bold like me. Like I just came straight out and said, you know, I want your fucking money or you're going to jail.
Yeah.
And then but to my word was, you won't go to jail. And then I began to build a relationship from there. Like, so, okay, you see what I can do for you? I mean, I just caught you with a kilo and, 150,000 cash. I didn't take anything, maybe some cash. And then you got to get something, right? It's not
and a little hit of that, and you tested out that
a little, just tested it to see if the the pink Peruvian flake was on the money. I mean, you don't want to get something cut, but if you're carrying around
God
150
forbid.
large, you better not have cut stuff on you. I mean, that's crazy.
He was a tad wilder than Phil Baroni, but in a similar way, I moved Phil, and once I got Phil in where I thought I could move him, I did things like this. I took him to Aruba. We went on trips together. And then I took him to Mexico with the actress Connie Stevens, who knew a lot of guys, actually. He knew she was friendly, and in her younger years, she dated Tommy DeSimone from Goodfellas. So she actually enjoyed being in our company also, and all her friends and cousins and daughters. And I dated one of her daughters. And I took Phil on that trip, and it was about 50 of us. We flew to California. We went to Mexico, and I showed him a crazy life of fun and the high life. That once you expose somebody into something like that, and they see and their eyes are open, and if you move them good, he's not going to turn back to the poverty end. And I started moving him, and then before you know it, he's on trips with me. He's buying convertibles like me, Mustangs, and I got him involved, and he's moving and buying houses where I'm buying houses, and that camaraderie of a bunch of guys and gangsters and cops. Now we're all going out together. Not only did he come around, but he started bringing other cops around for me, right. And and they like staying with us, and we like staying with them.
Yeah,
so
well, it was a mutual beneficial relationship. The thing that I got to ask you, from my perspective, Johnny, is,
can I be your friend?
Nah. See, I would have if I got close to Johnny, we would have been friends. There would have been no question. We would.
No, I'm just saying.
And I would have
stuff he was buying.
Yeah. I would have fallen on the sword. That's who I am. That's how I was raised. But the question to me is, what did he eventually? Did he eventually help you, or was it just a fact that he was behind you or near you?
No, he helped me. And by the way, I knew his partner Kenny.
Yeah,
Kenny grew up with us.
Yeah,
but. Phil did help me in a lot of ways. Not only, he would drive with me when I was moving packages at the beginning.
So he gave you a safety.
Well, we got pulled over a couple times, and he got out with his badge, and he showed the badge. So, that safety of saying, I'm a detective, I'm in the car, they'd say, okay, and we'd walk, and we'd drive off.
Right.
So that was one way. He came with me on a hit. He actually was, listen, one thing I say about the guy, because we had a falling out and things happened.
I know.
We go to jail.
I know
he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tougher than all the gangsters I stay with. So when I had issues, and I had some serious issues at times when guys were trying to shoot me and kill me, Phil jumped out with that gun, and he didn't hesitate. I'm not saying he's the greatest, toughest guy with his hands. He's not like his son. His son's a tough kid.
Right.
And, the son stayed with me and was involved in some robberies with me, and we're very good friends still. And, he's fighting back in Mexico, people, and he might go into China. I might corner him on a fight in China, actually. And he's a 45-year-old guy, in great shape, very wild. So, but going back to his father, he was down for everything. And then he became my bookmaking partner. And then I did an armored van that we set up, a guy that was moving, and he furnished me with his badge and also some different things,
communications,
guns, tools,
and stuff.
Communications, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't come on it, but he was involved in it.
Right. He set it up.
So he set up.
Yeah.
So he stepped over that line with everything. But the guy actually lived up the block from me, and they moved to South Jersey with me. And we were very close. And like I said, he was my bookmaking partner for years, for 2 decades. So, once you cross that line, that money's coming in, and he made millions with me. There's no way you're going to turn back as a regular citizen and as a cop.
Yeah, that's what something even in the 7-5 you hear Kenny say, uh, 30 minutes ago I was a cop and now I'm not, or something like that, or now I'm a gangster
Yeah.
or something like that. It's just a little
It's
cry.
like, which one are you?
Yeah. Well, it's a cry for shame for him
Well,
because
he was making, he got out on 3/4. He got hurt, and his 3/4 I think was $750 a week.
right.
$750 a week. We were making that in an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're not going to be a cop on a salary of $750 a week, and especially when he retires and he goes out on disability, and you're making this kind of money with me. You already crossed the line. There's no way you're coming back the other way. So and what I did was we got so friendly that he started. Like I said, the thing is, I utilize him to bring other guys to me.
Right.
So
Yeah, because you can only do so much as one guy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's what we did with the Diaz crew.
Yeah.
Like, I brought in 3 or 4 other cops to work with us because we want to blanket this guy with protection because I couldn't work every day of the week, and I had to have some of my personal life, but we were protecting an organization that ran 24/7 almost. So I would solicit other guys, or they would see the life, they'd be seduced by the life that I was living. Even though it wasn't as extravagant, but I had a nice setup. Well, it is what it is. Johnny was a little more extravagant with that stuff because he had it bigger. But then I pulled in with the brand new Corvette, and everybody wanted to know what I was doing.
Yeah.
All right, and now they want a piece of it, and they want to get involved. I mean, I had 13 young cops. I had to turn them away. Like, they just started. I had to turn them away.
Well, the perfect example of what he just said is he had a brand new Corvette. And here's the similarities. So did we. All of us started buying Corvettes. I bought one. Then Joey Blue Eyes bought one. Then this kid Keith bought one. Then Richie bought one. And Fat Angelo bought one. Andrew.
That's what all those vets
Andrew
were
Rizzo.
running around.
So they have the same idea as us. And then the biggest play on Phil is bringing in the woman. You're bringing in all kinds of beautiful women, exotic women, movie stars, different, ring girls from Atlantic City and Vegas, and showgirls. And, he wasn't exposed to this until, we brought it near him. So, of course, now I'm a commodity to him. So, of course, he's going to be loyal to me. And he was ready to go with the gun anytime. And that's the development of stages that you try to bring in to the friendship. It's supposed to be, like he said, a two-way street.
Yeah.
And that's a good point, Mike, because like you said, he came in with that Corvette. Now you got 13 guys all of a sudden that want the Corvette, but they want that lifestyle is what they want.
Yeah, they didn't even wear a pair of shoes yet. I mean, these guys just fresh out of the academy. I mean, their shoes were still brand new.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I was embarrassed for them, to be honest with you, because we still need good cops. I mean, let's be honest, Johnny. We got to really. I mean, we need cops that'll do their job. The problem is we want the cops to turn their head when we're doing what we're doing, whoever we are, right? I mean, ask Hillary.
Yeah.
I don't want to start. Ask Hillary or what's the kid Rittenhouse right now?
But yeah, Rittenhouse. But see, like it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop there. Phil didn't get along great with his brother-in-law, who was a pretty straight, narrow guy, but he was a correction officer at the time. So now I take not just the police on the street, but if you go to jail, I can take care of you in there also.
Right.
And then I used his brother-in-law's house for bookmaking. So I do move a guy who's pretty straight-laced. And then I move his son a little bit, who's Phil's nephew, Billy, who's, a neighborhood kid. And then we maneuver him when he becomes a cop. And before he was a cop, actually. So, the dynamics expand.
Right.
And if you do it smart, it doesn't expand through me. It actually expanded through him.
Right.
He's helping me expand.
Exactly.
And and now I'm moving drugs inside the prison. If guys have trouble in the prison, I have the guards. I have the cops on the street. And these guys are all in. You're talking about there's not much that we didn't do as an organization. And, when you look at gangsters overall, I work with them. But I didn't have the same friendship, I think, as some of the guys that were ex-cops and cops that were with me, because they're just neighborhood guys like me that end up becoming police officers, but they're from the hood and they understand the same mentality.
Right.
And I think I had better friendships with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then it extends into prison. And we talked about that before we got on the show. We had a couple of laughs about a few of the people that you were at odds with. I mean, when I was doing my time now, of course, now we'll fast forward a little bit, the life was great, then it wasn't, right? It's all good until it's not, right? And then I end up in the joint, and almost, I don't know about the times you were in and I was in. I ended up in 92. I did the commission in '93 where I'm famous for saying both. What are you, a cop or a gangster? And I didn't know what the fuck to say. I turned to my attorney. He goes, what do you think? I says, he goes, say both. So I'm not gonna lie, both. Bingo. Write that down. Script. But in the joint, Johnny, now we've moved. What's the value of being a cop? First of all, there's not much value to being a cop in the joint. Okay, it's hard to get friends. In the street, all the wise guys want to get close to you, and Johnny could admit to that, right?
The problem is when they go to jail, a cop, and he's dirty and he gets caught. The gangsters all of a sudden are pushing you by arm's length. I didn't do that. And I'll give you an example. When I'm in prison, I go into Fort Dix. I went back in and out. I was always in and out of jail. And I went on a violation, I believe, when I'm in Fort Dix.
How's your glasses looking? All right? I'm sure I take them off.
Oh, they're good.
Okay.
They're good. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You look like the Terminator.
There you go. Oh, yeah, good.
Actually, they named my show on Locked Up Abroad the Terminator or something.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, the people haven't seen it.
Do I look more like him with the glasses
You look
on?
pretty, bro. You can't. I don't even want to compare you to. He's a little edgy. You're pretty. It's all good. I don't know which way to go right now.
Everybody thinks you're my brother. So
I know.
But so when I'm in jail, I walk into the joint, and I used to run a lot. Everybody knows I'd spend a couple hours on the track. So I'm running the track, and there's a guy, Eddie, out of Rhode Island, nice guy, tough guy, gangster, and he's walking with a guy, Ricky Dion, which is a strong guy. He's a big guy, strong guy, tough guy. And a lot of the gangsters didn't like him, and I didn't know why. I just got there, and they says he's an ex-cop. So now he's involved in loan shark, and he gets pinched. He gets a 5-year extortion charge, I believe. And I walk into the joint, and everybody's trying to get my ear, which I'm not getting involved in the nonsense in jail because they got nothing better to do. They always do this dumb shit. Yeah. So when I'm around the track, they tell me about it, and Ricky steps to me and says, I don't know if you have a problem with me or not. And I says to Rick, I get friendly with Ricky and Eddie. And I said, listen, I don't care what any of these guys say. I says, that's not how I do my time. If I like you, I like you. Same on the street. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what gang you're with. I don't care if you're a gangster. I don't care if you're a king. I don't care if you're Nieta. I don't care if you're black. I don't care. As long as you're a good guy with me, you're good with me. So I told Ricky, you want to end that with them and they'll know what side of the fence I'm on? Just walk the track with me. So after I run, I walk a while, and he gets on the track. He starts walking with me. And a guy approaches me.
Right away. Yeah. Right away, right? Yeah. First lap.
Yeah,
first fucking lap.
And he says, John, can I talk?
How do I know?
He says, can I talk to you? And I says, listen, if you're going to talk about this guy, no, you can't talk to me. It's none of your business how I do time. I don't care what you think about him. I just, because when he was on the street, I had guys just like him on the street with me, and they're gangsters no different than us. Everybody wants to know him out there. All of a sudden, you just want to push him away when he's in here. I says, but if you feel so strongly about that, ask Eddie, I'll come, and just go in the bathroom with him and see who comes out.
Yeah, let's do this.
But Ricky was a tough guy. He was strong. He was in good shape, and Ricky didn't sidestep nobody. But so I got very friendly with Ricky, and I stayed with him my whole bit. Now, it's okay when he's on the street giving you information. It's okay if he's helping you with something. It's okay if you need him to strong-arm something. But when he comes inside, this is the double standard of treachery of the mob that I don't like.
Fucking take.
So, like most guys, in groups they talk, but when they're alone, they never talk. Right. And if Ricky was the only one in there with him, they would be his best friends.
Best friends, yeah.
So this is the problem I have with them. And the same with Mike, because I knew who Mike was when he was in jail. I heard, obviously he was all over the media and the news.
Right.
And guys would talk even out in the street, and I used to laugh and say the same thing.
Right.
Out here, you want to hold his hand. In there, you want to, keep him away from you.
Yeah, I was in McKean.
You were McKean. I
was in McKean.
Yeah, because I went in it right after you.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I was in McKean with Gotti's husband. What's his name? Carmine?
Yeah.
I don't know his last name. I can't pronounce Ignazio or something.
No, Agnello.
Okay, all right. I'm in the joint, and I'm working with Dennis Hickey. And I know you know
who
I know
Dennis
is.
Yeah.
And Dennis is a straight-up gangster, all right? He's an Irish gangster, but he is what he is, right? And he helped a lot of the wise guys out throughout his time, whatever, in the street. He had a big successful garbage, multimillionaire. They didn't like him, right? They killed his son in front of his house. Anyway, I didn't know Dennis was a Brentwood boy. He's from I'm a Brooklyn kid, born but raised in Brentwood. Dennis Hickey had 11 brothers and sisters and siblings, whatever, and they were Brentwood kids. So I'm walking the track when
Brentwood's Long Island. So,
yeah, Brentwood's a pretty ghetto-y town in Long Island. But anyway, so it wasn't when we were children, but as we got up, it turned into a little hood. And so I'm walking the track with this guy, Dennis. He volunteers to work. I never pick anybody, and you know that, Johnny, probably from watching your friend Ricky.
Yeah.
We don't pick anybody. When you're a cop in prison, you walk. you know. And if someone wants to join you and say hello and talk to you, that's fine. I did my whole bid this way, almost 12.5 years like this. And all of a sudden, Dennis Hickey, I didn't know really who Dennis was, but I heard the name. Then he told me the garbage guy from Long Island. Of course, everybody knew the stories. And then Carmine, I'm walking the track with Dennis, 2-3 laps. All of a sudden, this guy comes cutting across. I don't know this guy. Because cutting across the track, and Dennis, come here. Excuse me. And I go, here we fucking go again. I mean, I know what's coming. And I go, all right, Dennis, I'll see you. I'll see you next year or some shit like that, you know. So yeah, so he finishes doing his bullshit with this kid, this guy Carmine. I don't know, a little stocky, hairy kid. Anyway, look like a meatball. He's in good shape. He's a stocky, chunky little fucker. And don't forget, I'm 6 foot, 6'1", almost 185 pound jacked, right? Ripped, 8-pack. Yeah. I had my workout down to 22 minutes. I don't look like weight today, but we'll get it back. I keep saying I'm going to get it back. I keep saying I'm going to get it back, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Pray. But so all of a sudden Dennis comes back around and he catches up with me. I go, so when will I guess we won't be seeing each other. He goes, fuck these motherfuckers. He says, they put me here. I took them into my home. I took care of them all. And now they're going to tell me who I can talk to in prison. I said, Dennis, just do your bid. You don't need any more problems. I'm going home in 2 years or maybe 3. You know how it is. I'm going home this decade sometime. I'll get out eventually. It's a funny story. So I go to Dennis's shop one day. Are you fucking?
Maybe that's Dennis.
Yeah, I thought I shut this off. I go to Dennis's shop one day on Long Island. There's a fucking sign. Do not come in here if you're a felon, if you have a weapon on you, if you're the FBI, CIA. He's got these fucking signs. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
No.
He's got these signs all over his place. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want to put this guy in a bad position. But I went in anyway.
Yeah.
I went in anyway. and his like manager goes, what do you want? I go, well, I wanted to say hello to Dennis. I did a little joint. I just want to say hi, And he goes, do you see the sign? No. He goes, you're a felon, right? I said, of course I am. I know Dennis from the joint. He goes, well, please, please don't come back. I'm like, all right. Yeah. I don't want to, right. And I'm like turn around my tail between my fucking legs and cry. Ma, they don't want me even in the felon's fucking house. They don't want me at the fucking garbage station, for Christ's sakes.
Well, you know what it is, where he's worried about,
of course he's worried about
and everything.
Of course. And I know why, but so it was just, but here's a guy walking with me in the track, a guy from my neighborhood wants to say hello. And the wise guys are trying to tell him not to. And then Larry, who we all both know, Larry was killing people and stuff. He calls me over to his cell one day in MCC, New York, and says, hey, Mike, what's going on? I said, well, what do you want me to say what's going on? I'm by myself here.
Yeah.
He goes, not with me here. Don't you worry. I got your back, and I don't give a fuck what these guys say. Because all the wise guys are like, they're like this, but not, because prison's racial. Let's call it what it is. There's like 6 white guys on the fucking tier. I'm one of them. All right. So, they see a white face. They're like trying to be like nice, but they can't because they're wise guys. Except Patsy Conti, of course. Can you do me a favor, Michael, and get me the phone? What are you doing for me? You didn't even give me a fucking spaghetti.
He was a Captain Gambino.
Yeah.
He's dead.
He didn't even give me some fucking spaghetti. He's like, can you get me the phone? Put your name up there for me. I wasn't calling home anymore. I was done. I was already done in MCC. I'm done. I'm done calling. I'm fucking done.
I got to tell you, so, back to what he's saying about the way the guys treated, but no one stepped to Ricky. See, that's the thing. These guys like, but nobody's going to step to him physically. He was a tough guy. He was a big guy, and he could handle himself. So, listen, unfortunately, I say this about a lot of things. I don't like LeBron James. I make that very verbal. Because
really?
And don't let me get started.
Don't get started.
Because I'm like Abbott and Costello. When you say Niagara Falls, I go on LeBron.
Yeah.
This episode of the Alite Show is brought to you by Fume. That's FUM. Go to www.breathethefume.com/elite and use the code ELITE to get 10% off.
It's time to quit smoking. Fume makes the gap to nicotine-free easier with a natural inhaler that curbs cravings and supports recovery. I've been trying Fume. I was addicted to the cartridges. I was going through 4 a week, $20 a day to get 4. I'm down to 2 a day. So I've been doing half and half. It's been working great for me. So next week, I'm going to try to cut it down to where I'm only at 25%. So the product's great, and that's FUM.
Hey, I got to tell you, some of my friends and some of my family, they use it, and they got to stay about the same. They're close to halfway down using it. So I'm a believer because I'm watching my friends and family using it, and it works for them.
No smoke, no vape, and no harmful chemicals. Flavorful plant-packed cores to reduce cravings and support recovery. Enjoyable and comfortable. Because who said smoking had to stop?
Hey, once again, www.breathethefume.com/elite. Use the code ELITE for 10% off. That's www.breathethefume.com/elite, and that's 10% off. That's fume, F-U-M.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't go for anybody who guest speaks for Communist Party.
Yeah, really.
So he doesn't care about slavery in China.
No, it's okay
so
for him.
This
It
guy's
works.
okay as long
When
as
it
he's
works for
making
you,
money there.
when it works for you, it's okay.
Yeah. So, but with Ricky, nobody stepped to him, and he did very good time, and that's just part of it. You got guys, they in groups, that's how they talk, or they try to, go after a guy when he's by himself, and
So yeah, I'll give you. I'm in Mariana. Now Mariana was a high security institution. There's 340 guys with life sentences in there, so it was a serious place. But it was a mellow, serious place. And basically, most federal prisons, by the way, are fairly mellow until something goes off, right? Yeah. Johnny,
that's accurate.
Yeah, because the guys want to do their time. They got their load. Yeah. They want to do their time and go home. So I'm new in Mariana, and there's this big kid, and people out there that know him, Big Country, and that's his name, Big Country, right? Big Country, right? So he's 6'5", 240, ripped, like a little, he's a diamond-shaped kid, and he doesn't want me in the TV room when he's in there. I'm like, oh, fuck. What am I going to do, hide? I got 11 years to go. I'm going to hide from Big Country? I know. So my buddy, a Long Island kid, I think he was from Brentwood, too. His name was spelled like C-G-R-O-Y, whatever the fuck it was. He was a nice kid, though. He was a bank robber. He goes to me, he's a bank robber. Bank robbers are good people. They just rob banks. So he says to me, Big Country doesn't want you in the room. I says, oh, what am I going to do? I said, I don't want to fight with this guy. He's a monster. I'm in good shape, bro. Don't kid yourself. I'm in good shape. I can handle myself. I'm not Johnny, but I can handle myself. And he goes, well, you got to go in there. I said, fuck, really? He goes, what are you going to do? He's going to punk you out if you don't go in. So the next morning I get up, go to breakfast. I'm going to get all fed up in case I got a problem. I'm going to be in a hole without eating. I got to have food in me, right?
You're getting stocked up.
So
right?
now you got to realize I'm in pretty good shape, bro. I'm not going to lie. And this Big Country's big, okay? So I walk into the room and they're watching ESPN. It's him and me. Right. Watching ESPN, there's some of the little TV rooms. It's like the size of this studio. Not that it's little, but so I stand next to him. I put the folded arm position. I sit there and I'm watching fucking ESPN results. I couldn't tell you who was on. I don't know who won or lost. LeBron wasn't playing at the time, right? Patrick Ewing was with the Knicks then. That's how fucking long ago this was. Starks.
I am a John Starks and Patrick Ewing. Yeah.
Starks.
They were good then.
Yeah, Starks was throwing 3-pointers all over the place. But Reggie Miller killed us.
Reggie Miller was great.
He killed us.
Skinny, great.
Yeah, he killed us.
And he was a tough player.
Yeah, he killed us. But anyway, so I'm standing there, and I fucking fold up on him. I'm standing there. He looks over at me, and I look at him, and I just stand there and look back at the TV. About 15, 20 seconds later, he turns around and walks out. In runs my friend. You won! I mean, what do you mean I won? He goes, he fucking left, man. Yeah. That's it. You won. You're done. You don't have to fucking worry about this guy again. Yeah. I'm like, really? Yeah. He goes, yeah. I go, oh, wow, that was a good fight. I didn't fucking have to swing my fucking hands or nothing. No mop rooms, no strapping down, nothing. I went to the mop room once after that, though. You know why? Because I ran the drug program. Yeah. I ran the drug program in prison, and some guy from one of these bikers, the crazy bike outlaw.
Oh, yeah, the outlaws.
Like the head of the outlaws was there, right? And he's mad that I'm running the drug program. I'm like, dude, what do you want me to do? Quit? Because you're here? What the fuck,
Will we teach him the right way to do a line?
I was telling off the dashboard, mother. If you're going to do it.
If you're going to do a line, do it like this.
Do it bold.
Like this.
Do it bold. Don't be shy. Yeah. Own it. Yeah. Own it like you own everything else.
I can imagine you teaching a drug program.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him?
Hard those poor kids must all fail the class.
I was good, man. I was really good at it. When I was good, I was good.
I know what they did the second they got out.
Yeah. They called it dope dealer. Anyway, so Terry wants me in a mop room. So my cellmate says to me, "I just set you up." I go, "What do you mean you set me up?" He goes, "I got Terry. Terry's a monster. It's like fucking 280." He goes, "Terry doesn't want you teaching a drug program." So I told him. He said the him. I told Terry, meet him in the mop room after count. I said, I'm down to like 165. I'm ripped, but I'm skinny now.
This really is like Abbott and Costello show.
Yes.
He's like Bud Abbott. He keeps putting Costello in these fights. Mr. Fields, you remember? Mr. Fields used to beat him up all the time.
You could get in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now I got to go to the mop room with this monster. I'm like, oh, fuck. I strap up tight and the sneakers on. I didn't put any, paper or anything. I'm going in there straight up. If you're going to stab me? It's too big to stab.
Yeah, what he said, but he means when you're in jail, for the guys that don't know, they magazine up.
Yeah,
and
I'm
they
not-
tape it, so
yeah,
in
you
case
could
someone
I'm not
stabs,
doing it. He's a big guy.
Put a towel around your neck so they don't raise you.
He's going to bear hug me, I figure.
Yeah.
Crush me to
Right.
death, that's all. I went to the mop room. I stayed there and waited and pacing in the mop room. I'm getting no jacket. I'm going first because I'm not. First off is usually the best sign, right? And I'm already in the mop room, so I ain't waiting. Like, you come in that mop room, it's on, motherfucker. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but it's on. He never showed up.
You're 2-0 now.
2-0, motherfucker. Now you write that down. That was good. So it happens, but it happens.
So now, would you guys say that you guys are more similar or different?
Oh,
Overall.
Can't you tell? He's nuts.
It's like two of us are here.
He's really crazy. He's the band end of my personality. I got the angel and I got the devil. He's the devil's side.
That's why I asked you that question.
I'm just.
Let me tell you something, because you mentioned it earlier, real quick, to get off that. You mentioned Rittenhouse, and it's going to the jury now. But for the people that don't know out there, the two guys that he ended up killing, one was a pedophile, sex offender.
Right.
And the other guy was also a felon of some sort, and I'm really not sure what he was.
Right.
I think he had some assaults also against
Someone mentioned
a woman or something.
Someone mentioned two pedophiles, but I'm not going to give him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that he was.
Well, yeah, I don't know about the second guy. And the third guy that that he shot admits on the stand that he pointed his gun at Rittenhouse, the kid, first, before the kid fired. So I don't even know what there's a trial about. And then somebody has, they got 500 of the National Guard there just in case he's found not guilty that they attack. First off, for the people that, on the news, I watch the news on some of these stations, CNN,
fake news?
and they said, fake
Communist News Network.
and what they said was, well, they're calling it racial and this and that. They're all white.
They're all white.
So I don't even know what they're talking about here with the race thing, and then they attack the judge. But the prosecutor, for the people that don't know, purposely did some things to have the case thrown out because it wasn't going well for him. He didn't do it by accident.
Right.
He did this purposely where he
To save himself from
He's
embarrassment.
lying on the stand ongoingly. He's committing perjury himself. The prosecutor's lying.
Well-
Every time he moves his mouth, he's lying because he wants the case to get thrown out so there is no loss.
what he did was
And the judges had it.
well, what he took was he took the ability of not talking before trial, the kid. And the prosecutor brought it out. Well, he never spoke until now, and the judge dressed him down because obviously he doesn't have to speak. He has the right to remain silent. And he did it because knowingly that, so this charade that the media is playing, he did it purposely. He's a prosecutor. He understands the law. It's one of the oldest laws in the history of the United States that he doesn't have to speak. So when he did this, he did it purposely because he was hoping the judge would throw the case out and they could retry the case, which wasn't the case. And back to my first original thing. These are all white guys, and I hate, and you know this, I say this everywhere. I have a mixture of friends, Spanish, black, white, Indian, a couple Indian friends. And stop the racism stuff. It's terrible what they do, and they keep trying to divide. And people that don't know the case, it only involves a white kid, young kid, he's 18 at the time, he was 17, that was protecting himself, and that's his defense against guys that tried to kill him and beat him, and he killed 2 out of 3.
They even have video of it.
Yeah, it's all.
I mean, you can see it on video.
One of the things that they're trying to twist it on, Johnny, and we've all been in uncomfortable situations. They're saying he's provoked them. He didn't provoke them to chase him 350 feet.
Well,
when you turn around and run, listen, if I point the gun at you right now and I say, oh, fuck, I better not do this, and I turn around and run, you catch me and beat me up, you get arrested.
Listen, you're an ex-cop, there's firemen. If me and you go downstairs right now, put something on fire, we're going to jail for arson.
Right.
So when this news media is saying it was peaceful protests, this is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on in this country. And when you're talking about a pedophile that's trying to kill somebody or beat somebody with a weapon, nobody knows if that weapon, whether it's a skateboard or anything else, if you're going to beat him 100 times over the head with it, or 10 times, or even hit him once across the head, you're going to kill him. So this is where the country's going. It's terrible. And this
So
division that everybody keeps trying to do and start. This is a 17-year-old boy. Obviously, anybody would be scared for their life if a gang of people chasing you. But we need to end it at that. I think the shows we're a little we're going over.
Well, how does it end? How does it end? As a gangster, as a policeman that did the wrong thing, how does it end?
I think
how does it all end?
We all end up in the same place, don't we? Right?
But
Not on a talk show or radio show
No,
or
no, I mean,
podcast.
when
Most people don't end up.
When I say how does it end,
Right.
okay, we all know how it ends, right? You end up, but what happens when you get out? How do you make it better? How do you make life better for everybody and, show that you've learned your lesson?
Well, that's a good point.
Well, for myself, I do a lot of advocating and talks around the world, not just in this country, for kids to do the right thing and don't have that desire to make fast money, because it doesn't work. It doesn't last. You're going to suffer. You're going to do what we did. We're going to go to jail. We joke about it, but he'll tell you there's a lot of times in jails you're suffering, you're crying,
That's right.
you're losing your family, you're losing your life. And, the message is, the message I convey constantly is go to work, do the right thing, and look at life and enjoy each day as it comes, because it can end at any time. And
Yeah, well, for me, it's pretty much similar. I mean, I don't do international speaking right now because my border pass was cut for a while. But now that I have my passport back, hopefully I'll do a little. But I actually had a tour scheduled in Europe a couple of years ago. It got canceled unexpectedly. But that being said,
I remember when you were going to do that.
Yeah,
we talked.
Yeah, 11 city tour. We'll talk about it later. I don't want to talk about the reasons on air. But the fact is this: that I personally. I actually, John, I don't know about you, but I enjoy the interaction with people that are going through struggles right at now. I know it takes a lot of time and energy, but I don't mind it, because for me, my experience is like a badge of honor now. The whole experience, not the gangster guy. The whole experience. So yeah.
So, John, after all the countries you've been to, all the traveling, everything, the cement box, the 18 years in prison, what's it like to walk on the beach?
So you know what it is to walk on the beach? It's a renewed understanding and respect for freedom. And I think that's why I go out and I'm so aggressive to help kids not to end up in those jails like me, because I took this for granted at one time. And I got a second chance to really be out here again and see this stuff. And for me, it's just got a different look to me from when it was before. And then after prison, it's just beautiful, and I'm lucky to be here.
Now, how much of all this is a funny question, but out of all this, when you look around from your past life, how much of this do you think was built with dirty money?
You know what the problem is? I think people are naive. I think relationships and corruption is embedded in society. So I think a lot of this legitimate people, legitimate so-called money, is political money, it's corruption, it's payoffs. It's people looking the other way. So I say a big percentage of this is actually built on corruption.
One way or another.
One way or another. It's no different. It's just in a bigger scale than the mob. The mob, I think, is on a very small scale compared to business people, corporate people, politicians.
Now, as you're walking and you're looking at all this, doesn't it just make it seem like you're just a little speck in the universe?
A lot of times I think about this, I think people don't. Well, me and you were just standing here thinking, and we see people walking past us. Imagine, we're never going to see us again in life. So, yeah, we are a little speck. And that's why I'm always saying the same thing, enjoy yourself, because when you're full of yourself and you don't have humility, you got to say, really, we're nobody compared to as big as this planet is or other universes are. So, yeah, I think about that a lot. Just all the people we just seen, we're never going to see them. We're not going to know if they're going to be very wealthy, they're going to be rich, they're going to be happy, they're going to pass away today, tomorrow. It's amazing when you really think about that.
And you look in the sky and you're like, who am I? We're nothing. I mean, just look up in the sky.
Yeah, and again, it gives me a different way of thinking of faith with God, thinking about there's got to be a bigger picture here than that we see. And I try to live a different life than I used to as a young guy. And I try to pass that to people that aren't living the right way, because we take it for granted, right? Earlier today, a guy that I grew up with passed away.
Sorry,
Young guy, yeah, and I want condolences to Steve and his family. And, that's why I keep saying you got to really enjoy what we got while we have it.
Has all your travels to all the different countries, has that also made you look at everything differently?
I try to teach, yeah, without a doubt it does. You know, you're here on this beach, right? It looks a certain way to you. But to me, that's been in every country. Whether I'm in Switzerland, whether I'm in Italy, whether I'm in Greece, Albania always, visiting my family and friends. Each country has a different feel to it. And I think when you shelter yourself in one environment and you don't experience other cultures, you stymie your thinking. And I think the more that you go out and explore the world, the more you're going to have an understanding of freedom. Your education changes. And, you know, I try to teach this to my own kids. And hopefully I reach some other kids that are in, you know, that listen to my shows or come follow me, that there's a whole world out here. Experience, because this beach, as much as it looks like water and sand, it's not water and sand. If you go to another beach in Saranda in Albania, or you'll go to Corfu in Greece, you'll understand what I'm saying.
When you decided to change your life, what was the first country you went to where you went out and you looked at the water?
When I came back and I was able to travel again, you know, I went back home to Albania, where my family, and I think about how my family were suppressed for so many years of generations because of, you know, where we're from. Poverty, no money, communism. And then I look at the struggles they had, and my struggles as an Albanian is nothing. And I know I have a lot of Albanians that follow me, but I get my strength from my people, from my country, and I try to pass that strength on to other kids, other families, other nationalities.
And why do you think it is that after the travels, after, you know, when you finally get home, after going to 17,000 countries that you've been to, luckily for you, you know, when you get home and you get home from prison and everything else, what do you think it is about the water and the waves and the sound of the waves that is just so calming and cooling and relaxing?
What you said earlier, actually, that there's so much more than just us. And it's so selfish of us to think that we're the only thing that's in all this great world, all these universes. What's on the bottom of the sea that we can't get to? Yeah. And it's amazing. And when people say, what makes water so beautiful that they'll spend millions of dollars to have a condominium or a house in front of the water? What's that calming effect of that water? So what's the bigger picture of that? Is it just us having that feeling? Is it God? Is it God reaching out and telling us there's something more than this universe than that we see and understand? So knowledge helps you grasp what we're going through right now and understanding. So I think the more you get educated, the more you grasp that we're not the only ones in this big universe. And we just suspect what you said earlier. You have an understanding, try to live the life to its fullest and in a positive way and not negative, and to go and show your heart and love instead of all the violence that I used to be accustomed to.
And also you can come out and you can look at the beach and, you know, you have a problem or whatever it may be, or something went wrong, and you say, it's really not that big a deal. I mean, look, I'm nothing, you know?
When you don't feel good or you're angry or people are sick, you know what they all do? They walk along the shore. Why is that? It's a calming, resting place. For some reason, I think God brings us to look and bring us to here where our comfort is. There's something comforting about the ocean. And it's not by coincidence. I don't believe in that. I believe there's a bigger picture here. And I think when I come home, or when I was in jail, and I said I'm going to come home and really, really respect life. And I came back and I do that on a regular basis. And when I travel around the world, or when I'm talking to kids in schools in different countries, not just here, my message is always the same. It's a positive message. I'm not going to pass a negative message to anybody. I'm going to talk about enjoying your life, respecting life, and respect for yourself. Humility.
It's like you can think. It's like you can just put your thoughts together with the ocean. I don't know, something with the ocean.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable because if you're spiritual, you'll understand it.
Yeah.
And if people don't necessarily believe in God, be spiritual. Come back here and see when you lay down in the sand and you relax. Yeah. What is it that's so comfortable about this?
Yeah. And what was here years and years and years ago? You ever wonder that?
Yeah, sure. It's incredible.
So when you were walking in another country like Albania, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that I'd never be here again. I never get to see my family again, my friends. I'd never be able to have the opportunity to look out these waters and understand This is like a roadmap, right? You look at these waters and people see one thing, right? But when I look at the waters, I see something different, because when I'm in Albania, it's completely different. And the water's like in Albania, in Saranda, in Vlora, it's beautiful. The water's blue and it's just got a different look, a different feel.
Was it clear?
Oh, it's clear. Yeah, it's
Way clearer than this.
Way clearer than this. And you know, you see the mountains in the background, and when you're in Saranda, you look across the water, you could see Greece. So, and then you could see there's so many small, beautiful islands. It's beautiful. And then you go back and you think about some of the people are in prisons that are never going to be able to experience this again. And I think when I travel to like Albania and like I said, some of these countries that I've been to, and you start really understanding, like, why did I waste so many years doing dumb things when there's so many things I could do that are beautiful? And there's so many ways to make money and enjoy that money. And there's so many people that are suffering, that are born sick, not healthy, born when they're not able to walk or hear or see and experience, and we take it for granted. So you got to really think about it. Imagine being blind and not be able to enjoy this. You know what that poor person that's going through?
Or deaf, and you can't hear those oceans hit,
Yeah.
you know?
Or something that's happening now with people that get COVID. They can't smell. You can't smell the salt air.
Yeah.
How beautiful that feeling is.
That's the most peaceful thing in the world, is that salt air.
And I think some of these things that are going through my mind, when I'm traveling like that, I just enjoy it. I take it for the moment, and I stay in the moment. You know, when you're playing sports, they always tell you you're up at bat, and they say stay in the moment. You know, calm yourself. Take your breath slow. Take a deep breath. Exhale slowly. Stay in the moment. Concentrate, and you'll be able to perform. And it's the same thing in life. Stay in the moment. Stop being in a hurry to go nowhere. Stop trying to get to the, everybody's trying to get rich, but they're not living life at the same time. There's people in Europe that I really respect, the cultures, because they live life and money comes second. In the States, I think we lose that. People are always trying to make money and get rich, but never live life. They let it pass them. They're working day and night. There's a happy medium, and you got to learn to find that happy medium.
Learn how to separate the two, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be working all the time and never get to enjoy something like this.
You got to enjoy
just
it.
for money.
Yeah.
Then you have all the money in the world, then you die, and what'd you do?
Yeah.
Now, not to bring this up again, but now if this guy puts a mandate on passports, and then you can't fly anywhere, you can't go to other countries like you've been to unless you get the shot. I mean, how ridiculous is that? You can't go see your family if you don't got a shot. So now I got to make a choice. I have to get a shot if I want, possibility if this goes through, that I have to get a shot to see my family. You got to get a shot to see your family. That's just ridiculous.
Well, that's why I'm not saying I'm for vaccination or against it.
Me neither, but have the choice.
But have the choice. But the problem is, he's doing what the mafia does. He's extorting. He's forcing, he's intimidating, he's using fear, and he's using love for a family member or business, and he's trying to bully his way to make people submit to what he's doing. This is why I'm against it, because he's trying to force something to be done on an executive order that he doesn't have the power to push.
And I agree with you. If you want to go get it, go get it. If I want to go get it, I'll go get it. If I don't, I don't. But don't put a restriction where I can't go see my family in Albania or go do a movie shoot or a series shoot in whatever country without them making you do something where you don't have your own choice, because this whole place was built on freedom, right? We talked about that in the other episode.
Well, this is why I said it's the mafia and the government, which is the real mafia. And people are asking, people that I talk to in the street, when they ask me about the mafia, I have a lot of experience in mafia. I was raised around the Ruggiano family since I'm a baby. His father was one of the big bosses of the Gambino family around Albert Anastasia. So I was raised around the mafia. I understand the Machiavelli, I understand the intimidation, I understand how we existed off of fear, and I understand this government is doing the same thing. They're strangling people with financially. They're intimidating people. They're living off of fear. It's almost the same thing, but in a bigger scale, the American government, of putting a gun to your head and say, if you don't follow my ways, I'm going to shoot you in the head. Not with an actual bullet, but in other words, they're going to slowly kill you and they're going to ruin you. And this is why I keep saying the American government is getting away from, because people are corrupt and greedy and they want power. They're forgetting what the founding fathers did for this country, and they try to put these Constitution in effect and Bill of Rights so people can't abuse them. And exactly some of the reasons, like the Second Amendment and gun control, the founding fathers had those gun controls so that it wasn't for the government to control people, it was for the people to protect themselves from a corrupt government. And so when people are talking about guns and changing what the founding fathers wanted for it, this is a big aspect of what's going on with the government. They're trying to take control by forcing, and they want those guns away. So you imagine if the government could do what Hitler did, you know, and what China's doing right now, and they could tell you when you can eat, when you could sleep, when you can have
what you can look up
can,
online.
And so we're in a dangerous point of this country, and that's why I'm always talking about it.
Well, we're real close.
And you got a lot of good government leaders on both sides that really love America.
They're not all bad.
No, but I would say 3/4 of them are.
Yeah.
And the problem is they're governing themselves with law. You know, you have Garland, the Attorney General, who's actually being told what to do by the president. He's using them illegally. Garland's corrupt with them, in my opinion. And these guys don't deserve the positions they're getting when they don't respect our Constitution and America and our freedoms.
So, you know, have you ever been in another country where you were looking at the water and like you knew, like, this sounds retarded, like, you know, Christopher Colombo came through or whatever, you know what I mean? Like in a part of a country where you knew, like, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, a boat came here that helped make this country the way it is?
You know what I think about? Everywhere we stand, people fought for freedom, and people suffered for us to be standing here right now. All through history, there were the Roman days, the Nazi Germany, Stalin, those days, World War I, II, Korean War, Vietnam. Think about, you know, all the wars throughout history. And people suffered so other people will have and enjoy the freedoms of the world.
I mean, look how beautiful it is. We can stand here in the sand, we can look at the sun, the waves, the beach. It just didn't come here. I think these people think it just like fell out of the sky. They built this.
Because the problem with people are they take things for granted until they lose them. And this is the major, until they lose them, they realize, or until you lose your life or you're sick and you say, why didn't I live life? Or why didn't I respect it when you're behind a jail cell? Or when they kill somebody out of anger. And then they realize, what did I do? I wish I could take this back. And I'm trying to give that message to everybody. Think before you do something. Our lives are too precious. And there's so much life to live, like you said. Look at this ground and respect when you're standing here. Because this constitutes freedom.
And this can all go in 2 seconds.
Oh, blink of an eye. People lose their life in a blink of an eye. Listen, everything's about timing. You can run through a light that's green, and if it's at that split second that's wrong and somebody ran a red light, it can end your life.
It's all over, and you're never here again.
They just told us a story about a young boy on a bike last night, 14 years old, poor kid. Somebody hit him and killed him. 14-year-old young boy enjoying his life on a bicycle going home to his mom, and it's over that quick. I mean, this is why every time you do something, you got to really say, I'm going to be in the moment. I'm going to enjoy my life in the moment. Kiss your mom goodbye because maybe it's the last time.
So John, you're going to be here for the holidays? Are you going back overseas? I know you got a lot of projects going on. Anything you can tell me?
Yeah, I mean, listen, so we were in, which you know, I was in Europe doing this series about Klaus Malkovich that was my good friend from Denmark. And the series is about, you know, Brazil. We were in jail together and his journey and his life. And we filmed about a couple of years.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
And, you know, so I'm going to go back after Christmas. I'm going back to Denmark to see him. And then I'll travel a little bit in Europe and do some filming. I got a couple of projects here I'm doing on some major TV shows, 2 of them actually. You know, I had a ton of stuff. I just came out with Locked Up Abroad about Brazil being locked up there. I came out prior to that with Netflix Fear City. I came out with the GQ magazine. I was a centerfold last year, and
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That was a big deal.
Forbes magazine with Dave Gentile, Richard Baha did that article. It was about 30 pages, I believe.
Really? I couldn't believe it was 30 pages.
Yeah. I did a magazine out of Switzerland a year before that with kids, a high school I did a talk at. So I got involved in a lot of projects. Prior to that, Trevor McDonald with Mafias 1 and 2. There was a big hit in the UK. I did The Perfect Gangster in Europe and Albania. That was also a pretty big hit. And now I'm starting with this TV series that will be out about Klaus's life and these other 2 documents. And my book just came out, my newest one, Mafia International. So I stay busy. The message is what I always say. It's for kids. It's a positive message for adults. And to live their life and enjoy it, not to buy into the streets, stay humble, and respect your life.
Can you tell me about the 2 new projects? Come on, man.
I'll tell you off camera. I'll tell you off camera, I promise. I got it. It'll be out shortly, and it's a surprise, and it's 2 major stations, so it's going to be very interesting. And remember, the thing that I want to pass a message always is positivity towards the young kids and the youth. That's what I base everything I do about. So, you know, that's a little hint.
So you've done about 20 different magazines around the world?
Yeah, I mean, maybe more actually.
Really?
Yeah, I've done several Living magazine in Albania twice. I've done GHQ in the UK a couple of times, GQ in the UK, and Switzerland, Amsterdam. I've done magazines, France. So I've done a lot of, I did Hollywood magazine here in the States also. So I've been busy, yeah.
All right, so you're not going to tell me, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. So let's wrap up another The Alite Show.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful morning in New York